there was this one country, and I forget which one it was, in El Cabulan, but I think it was the British that went. Yeah, it was the British. They went in and they were raping the men and the women and the men. I know you're gonna say the men. I mean, yeah, they both. It was just disgusting. So because they had the might, they had the power, they had the artillery. So because people weren't armed, they couldn't protect themselves. I mean, what man is going to let himself be raped? I mean, what man is going to do that? Like a woman might, because she's weak and she can't defend herself. But hopefully her husband will defend her. So my thoughts along that line is, if they try to do it in El Cabulan, that's the way that they'll do it. They'll use the military power that's there in order to bring this about, because again, the people aren't armed. And using South Africa as a great example, again, the reference that I used with Russia, the only reason that they won that was because Russia gave them arms. Nobody else was going to give them arms, nobody. But Russia did, and they were able to defeat their enemy, and apartheid ended. You can look at Haiti and look at what happened in Haiti. Haiti, the Haitians armed themselves and they killed the French. I mean, they were they were going and they were slaughtering them. So the French left, and Haiti was the first country to be free from slavery, because they went in and they armed themselves and they fought. Sometimes turning the other cheek is not the answer. Sometimes you do have to fight, especially against a force that is armed. Like,
All
I'm
right, now,
okay.
over there, see, you
Okay.
see, looking at the issue of arms and army and even the proliferation of weapons, let me just put it like this. You see, in Africa, there is it's quite strange how the European and their Western ally operate in Africa. This is a very strange combination of things.
Mhm,
You see, in Ukraine, the war that is going on there, there are a lot of weapons that are coming into the territory.
mhm,
Because Ukraine has become a theater of war. Many Western power are using it to demonstrate certain things, to just test certain things, no? So weapons are coming from different countries, not only from the United States and
mhm,
France.
mhm,
So what I mean by that is that different European and Western countries produce their weapons.
mhm,
But in Africa, it's not that the people are too stupid, they are not able to produce weapons.
mhm,
But there is this kind of very sinister agreement with the Western power that they are going to defend Africa.
mhm.
For this reason, Africa don't produce weapons. It appears to me that African powers are relying on their competitors to supply them the means of their survival. So I don't understand how that is going to work.
It's not.
So you that is coming
No.
from the defense background, maybe you might get a better sense from it, because for me, I don't understand it.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't understand. I don't understand why with okay. I'll use this analogy. So if you know that your enemy is doesn't have your best interest at heart, because repeatedly they've shown you that they don't have your best interest at heart, why would you trust them to defend you? Why would you trust them to do the right thing by you? They're not going to. Like you said before, their self-interests are just that, their self-interests. They continue to exploit Alkebulan. They continue to colonize her financially. So to think that they would defend you, that's not wisdom. That's not. You know, again, just looking at Russia, Russia has had a friendly relationship with Alkebulan, but they have helped us. They have. I'm not going to say that they haven't, because they have. And again, I thank them for that. But again, they still have the same DNA as the West. So I can't fully trust them, but I will say that I trust them to do the right thing as far as supplying us with weapons, because they do know what the real threat is. They do know that the West is the real threat. They do know that the U.S. is the real threat. They know that if given the opportunity, the U.S. would occupy Russia. It won't, because Russia is self-sustaining. Russia is extremely strong. Russia learned from World War II, and this is something that Africans haven't learned. Like, they haven't learned from their past. Like, I don't understand the people who colonized you, the people who continue to exploit you, are the people that you continue to look to for help. Like, that makes no sense. That's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. They don't have your best interest at heart. They have their best interest at heart, but they don't have your best interest at heart. Again, it's by design that the US has all of these military bases throughout Alkebulan. It's by design. When it's time for them to act, and believe me, they will, because that's their nature, they will. They will do what they do best.
I think Africa is even complex in itself, no? Because it's not a country. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Several United States can be put into Africa, no? So it's going to be a difficult thing to chew just once. So it needs let me use the word again, it's just a complicated situation. But of course, we see that a lot of small European countries are looking at Portugal, for example, Spain, coming to take all the space. Look at small country like Britain coming to take all the space that they take in Africa. Of course, these are the product of planning, of strategy, of several years, centuries of work, of collaboration among themselves, where we have not been able to collaborate. But I think we need to find a solution. This is the time for us to find a solution. So this is where I'm trying to see what the diaspora and also those at home can do. Because now, if you look at Africa, like I said again, it's very complicated. So you don't understand it easily. Like, for example, Israel decided to build a nuclear weapon. They armed themselves to the teeth. And when they wanted to explain it, why they have to do that, they said they don't want what happened in Nazi Germany to repeat itself again.
Exactly.
In case of next time, they want to defend themselves.
Yes, exactly.
Who would say to the Israel that they don't have any reason to defend themselves?
Exactly.
Now, we are talking of 6 million people that died in Jews, people that died, no? But we have more than 15 million, more than 20 million Africans that died.
Exactly.
Only African people don't have any reason to defend themselves in case there is danger. In case of army, they did it. We are not arming ourselves. Our countries, the country that we have, still continuously rely on the opposite. Okay, I don't want to call Europe enemy, but they are certainly competitors.
No, they're the enemy. They are.
Okay, so in this case, we shouldn't rely on our competitor to subsidize us.
Exactly.
So this is why I say it is complicated to understand. Why would you have a government that want another government to subsidize their operation in terms of military research? Because we can do all we can to blame the European and the West if we like, but I'm always trying to look for our responsibility at the end of the day.
Yeah,
because
I agree. I agree.
We cannot survive We cannot survive by just by relying on the mercy of another person. That if they decide not to attack us, then we are living in peace. That is not a strategy. The
No,
strategy should be, what if they attack in the night?
exactly. And that's their motive. You know, I mean, that's their mode of operation.